Worst move. Worst move seen in ages. -60 to activity from a pulled groin. Foe is stunned for 2 rounds, laughing. That's how you do a critical hit in the second edition of the Middle-earth Roleplaying game. Things are going to get nasty. 90. Head becomes a charred stump. Sadly, dies instantly due to this unacceptable condition. Let's jump in. So here are all the tables. Weapon statistics table right here. So we've got one-handed edged, which include broadsword, dagger, hand axe, scimitar, and short sword. One-handed concussion, club, mace, morningstar, net, warhammer, and whip. One-handed pole arms, which include javelin and spear. Two-handed pole arms, which are mounted lance and halberd. Two-handed weapons, battle axe, flail, quarterstaff, and two-handed sword. Missile weapons include bola, composite bow, crossbow, longbow, short bow, and sling. And then we've got the fumble range, because remember, those were the unmodified numbers. So if you rolled any of these, then you fumbled before applying any other modifier. And some of these have pretty large fumble ranges, because, for instance, fumble range with the broadsword is 1 to 3. With a dagger, it's just 1. The hand axe, it's 1 to 4. One-handed concussion, the morning star, that's 1 to 8. I mean, it's an 8% chance that you're going to fumble. And the two-handed pole arms are pretty easy to fumble, 1 to 7 for both of them. The flail gets 1 to 8. I mean, with an 8% chance that you're going to fumble, you would expect that's going to happen quite a bit, a reasonable amount of time when you're playing the game. Primary critical that it inflicts. So this is the primary critical that it inflicts. So if you roll on your table and for that particular weapon and you inflict a particular type of critical, then you go over to that particular type of critical and roll on that. So primary critical, secondary critical. So some things might actually be able to inflict more than one critical, and if it does, here's your secondary critical. What is base range? All non-missile weapons with a range are treated as throwing weapons. Oh, okay, so base range is you throw it, not dice range, but throwing it, weight, and then special modifications. And then here's our base range, short range, medium range, long range, and maximum range table right here. Now here are all of our weapon tables. One-handed slashing weapons attack table, one-handed concussion weapons attack table, two-handed weapon attack table, missile weapons attack table, animal statistics table, tooth and claw attack table, grappling and unbalancing attack table. Because that's always a thing. Whenever you're getting this detailed about particular weapon types and then criticals and things like that, and then you throw something in that's got to bite you or just slash at you with its claws, and then all of a sudden it has more than one arm or more than 2 arms and more than 2 legs or something like that, that always messes it up. So here's how they're handling that. Base spell attack table, resistance roll table. I would need to photograph all of these things, and you would have to have it sitting with you at the table, right there by you, for whatever weapon it is that you're using, so you roll and can immediately reference it. We're not going to be doing a whole bunch of flipping through the book every time somebody attacks. That would have to be photographed or photocopied and be sitting right by everybody. Bolt spell attack table, ball spell attack table. And now here are our critical hit tables. Heat critical, cold critical, electricity critical table, impact critical table. Crush critical table, slash critical table, puncture critical table, unbalancing critical table, grappling critical table, physical criticals for a large creatures table, spell criticals for large creatures table. Let's just take a look, for instance, at slashing, because that one I'm sure is going to be bloody. So the least that can happen if you roll -50 to 5 is weak strike yields no additional damage. So critical hit, but nothing in addition. Minor calf wound, 1 hit per round. Blow to upper leg, +5 hits. If no leg armor, +3 hits, and 2 hits per round. Minor chest wound, +3 hits, 1 hit per round, -5 to activity. 51 to 65, minor forearm wound, +4 hits, 2 hits per round, stunned for 1 round. Then medium thigh wound. Oh, you have received a medium thigh wound, sir. So that's +6 hits, 1 hit per round, -10 to activity, and stunned for 2 rounds. An 80 is neck strike severs carotid artery. Not good. Neck broken. Dies in 1 round of intense agony. Ugh. Slash weapon arm. +10 hits, 1 hit per round. If no arm armor, muscle and tendon damage, arm useless. Better get out muscle and bone ways and then, tendon ways Hope you got that spell list. 87 to 89, destroys one eye, plus 10 hits, stunned for 30 rounds. 90, that's disemboweled, dies instantly. 25% chance your weapon is stuck in opponent for 2 rounds. 91 to 96 is knocked out for 6 hours with a strike to the head, plus 15 hits. If no helm, dies instantly. 97 to 99 is sever lower leg. So this is when you need all those different spell types to put your leg back on. 20 hits per round, drops and lapses into unconsciousness. 100, slash side, down, unconscious and dies in 3 rounds due to massive internal organ damage. Major abdominal wound, plus 10 hits, 8 hits per round, negative 10 to activity, stunned for 4 rounds. Sever weapon arm. That's going to end your adventuring career unless your people have the right kind of spells. This sounds more like dungeon hack. I mean, can we get into this in the Middle-earth games and Lord of the Rings? Yeah, I mean, yes, we could, definitely. But, there's another style of gaming where you're going down to this dungeon and you probably are not going to come out in one piece. Definitely kinds of dungeon crawl things there. So sever weapon arm, 15 hits per round, down and unconscious immediately. 110 is impaled in heart, dies instantly, heart destroyed, 25% chance your weapon is stuck in foe for 3 rounds. 111 to 116 is sever hand, 12 hits per round, knocked down and stunned for 6 rounds. Then sever spine, collapses immediately, paralyzed from the neck down permanently, plus 20 hits. And then 120 or above, strike to head destroys brain, life is hard for the unfortunate fool, expires in a heap immediately. Okay, so we're doing a lot more in this game than just dealing out hit points worth of damage. What can happen to you for heat criticals? I think I remember some of those. Of course, some of the lighter things are blinded by hot smoke, plus 12 hits, stunned 1 round. Clothing catches on fire. Okay. 80. What happens when you roll an 80? For some reason, 80 is a single number. Blast to head. Face horribly scarred. Knocked out. Plus 15 hits. 5 hits per round. If no helm, a 1-month coma results. 90. Head becomes a charred stump. Sadly, dies instantly due to this unacceptable condition. On a 100, we've got blast to neck, fuses vertebrae, and unites skin with clothing. Paralyzed permanently, plus 25 hits. 110, midsection vaporized, cut in half and dies, clothing, armor, and items destroyed. Fire engulfs body, all organic material on body destroyed, dies of shock and nerve damage in 6 rounds, plus 25 hits. And 120, all that remains are charred bits of teeth and bone. This is definitely taking the critical hits to another level. We played with critical hits in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons with the Combat and Tactics book, but it wasn't anything like this. Oh, so over here are fumble tables. Oh, those would be fun. Let's see. We've got hand-arm fumble table, missile weapon fumble table, spell failure table, and moving maneuver failure table. Let's just look at hand-arms fumble table. Okay, so what happens if you fumble your hand arm? Well, lose your grip, no further activity this round. Okay, so very light, nothing additional. You stumble. Your classless display leaves you stunned for 2 rounds. With luck, you might still survive. An 80, incredibly inept move. Roll a B crush crit on yourself. If opponent is using a slashing weapon, your weapon is broken. Bite and swallow tongue in excitement. Stunned 2 rounds. Lose your grip on your weapon and reality. Stunned 3 rounds. 90, poor execution. You attempt to maim yourself as your weapon breaks. You take a C/slash crit. 91 to 96, unbelievable mishandling of your weapon. A friendly combatant near you takes a B crush critical. 97 to 99, stumble over an unseen imaginary deceased turtle. You are very confused. Stunned 3 rounds. 100, worst move seen in ages. Negative 60 to activity from a pulled groin. Foe is stunned for 2 rounds, laughing. You fall in an attempt to commit suicide. Stunned 3 rounds. If using a polearm, its shaft is shattered. 107 to 109. You break your weapon through ineptness. Stunned 4 rounds. 110. You stumble, driving your weapon into the ground. Stunned 5 rounds. If mounted, you pole vault 30 feet and take a C crush crit upon landing. 101 to 116. Your mount rears suddenly, stunned 3 rounds, recovering. 117 to 119. You do not coordinate your movement with your mounts. Negative 90 to activity for the next 3 rounds as you try to stay mounted. 120. You fall off your mount. Roll a D crush crit on yourself. And the modifications there were negative 20 for one-handed concussion weapon, negative 10 for one-handed slashing weapon, plus 0 for two-handed weapon, plus 10 for pole arms, and plus 20 for mounted. So since these didn't have any kind of modification other than the modifications down here, I suppose that's why some of them specifically refer to being mounted, because the only way you would be able to roll those is if you got the addition because you were mounted. So here's the experience point tables again, moving maneuver tables, skill rank bonuses, weight penalty tables, background options. We saw all of those, but it's nice they collect all of these tables here in the back because you would need them. Master character tables, equipment and prices. Everybody always loves equipment and prices. Food, lodging, transport, accessories, weapons, protective equipment. Herbs, poison, and disease table. So I'm sure Athles is on here. Somewhere, I don't see it, but I'm sure it's here. Oh, you can brew things, ingest them, apply, paste, liquid, powder. Some herbs are addictive. Okay. Composition of treasure, so treasure tables for the game master to roll on. Magic item pricing table, weather table, encounter table, we saw that, action table. Spell use risk table. Oh yeah, because you can become corrupted and be drawn toward the darkness if your spells start to fail, and then also if you start to use your spells in certain areas that are more dangerous and patrolled by the enemy, then you can become noticed. I guess that's kind of like Gandalf saying that, well, I cast this spell to start a fire up on Caradhras, and now I've written Gandalf is here all over the place, and the enemy knows I'm here. So there's that element too. Well, that was kind of a fun flip through and kind of stroll down memory lane. There can definitely be, I think, some charm to the old school stuff. Now, I definitely think that the mechanics and the gameplay structure of role-playing games has improved for the better. It changed and improved for the better over the years, I think. But there's still some charm to this. It makes me want to just try it out for the sake of trying it out and remembering how it goes. I hope this was also a trip down memory lane if you used to play this game, and if you did, please let me know about your experience down below. What did you think of the game? What kind of memories and great times in Middle-earth did you have if you played this game? And if you haven't ever played this game, maybe you're much newer to role-playing, this is what it was like years ago. When was this published? Let's look here. This is copyright, well, it says copyright 1984, 86, and then 1993. So I bet this is probably the 1993 edition of the book. So this was 1993 when this came out. So that's a look back at what role-playing was like in Middle-earth in the early 90s. So I guess it's got its nostalgia charm. And of course, there have been other Middle-earth role-playing games since then. I've got the Decipher one, and I played the Decipher one. So I think we should compare and contrast the different ways that these different role-playing games do Middle-earth. Because, like I said, this one did have a lot of critique because maybe there were things in it that didn't exactly invoke the feel of Middle-earth like many people wanted it to. And I know they tried that a lot more with Decipher, and of course have tried that a lot more with the One Ring role-playing game. So we can get into those at a later time. If you've enjoyed this video, please check out the playlists on my YouTube channel. I've got a lot of other information and videos on role-playing games, on fantasy, even on action figures, and I organize all of my videos by playlists. So just go to the playlist, pick a topic that you're interested in, and go through them and enjoy some videos. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in many more videos to come.